Yes, that.
Breathe.
All the cleansing breaths.
With screw this up every time. Root chakra is Vam. What's Vam? Vam is sacral. Okay.
Yeah.
What?
To bring the energy down there, just not quite far enough.
Need to go. I, the energy healer and teacher, need to go down one more chakra.
We all have those moments.
Oh, goodness gracious. I see we're live. I'm just waiting for everybody to join in. Guys, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm actually going to give it just another minute or two. I'll say 2 minutes. We'll get started at, because we're already a couple minutes late. Lauren and I were just kikiing and chit-chatting. So just give it another minute. I don't know why, just energetically, I don't anticipate a lot of people showing up, but I'm going to surprise myself. I'm going to be optimistic and surprise myself and see. I may be pleasantly surprised. Hi, Debbie Ann, Larry Girl. Hey, Tallulah. Yes, it is chakra time.
Yes.
Evermore, how you doing? Guys, welcome so much. Welcome so much. Thank you so much and welcome. Let's get the messaging right. For those of you tuning in, I have already posted some links in the chat. The first link I posted was please follow Lauren if you are on Instagram. I put her Instagram handle on there. It's BSG Yoga. I also put a link to her YouTube channel, so please go check her out. Make sure you subscribe. After our little chakra flush that we're about to do, as Debbie Ann just called it, I just heard a toilet go whoosh in my head.
Ultimate flush.
So just very quickly, well, we've got a couple people joining in. And I'm going to do, because I didn't think to do this. Actually, I'll do it with this. So for those of you who are not familiar with the chakra system, Lauren and I did a 2-part series about a month ago where we called it a crash course into chakras. And we literally went from the root chakra to the crown chakra. So for those of you who are not familiar, I'm doing 2 things. I'm plugging a book and I'm teaching you about going through the chakras at the same time. I'm so ingenious. So let's talk about it. So tonight, our focus is with this color here, which is our root chakra. This is our home for survival, our home of abundance, our security, home and family. This next color up here is this beautiful orange color. This is called our sacral chakra. This is our home for a couple of things, just to keep it simple. Think of emotions, think of creativity, pleasure. Creativity, pleasure, emotions. Going up is our important heart chakra, our ability to give love and most importantly, receive love. Next is our throat chakra, which is this beautiful blue color, obviously located in our throat area. This is our ability to speak divine truth and to listen. It's a 2-way street. Back is a loop. You got to listen and you got to speak. After that goes our third eye chakra. This is beautiful indigo color. This is our ability to see additional information, our house of perception. And then last but not least, this beautiful purple color is our crown chakra, which is our connection to universe, connection to everybody, connection to spiritual guidance. The book that I'm holding up is called Wheels of Life by Dr. Judith. This is an amazing, and I actually have a couple sections I'm going to read from this book. It's a really good, it is thick, as you see. It's pretty meaty. However, I like to call it kind of a go-to when you have a question about a chakra. If you want to learn more in depth and not just kind of surface level that you see on Pinterest, hey, what does this actually mean? What are some things that are attributed to the chakra? Why am I feeling a certain way? Kind of more going into the psychological aspect of chakra healing. That's a really good source. And then another one is Eastern Body, Western Mind is another by the same author. Just 2 really good places to get great information about our chakra system and our chakra health. So We've got a couple people in. So Lauren, do me a huge favor. For those of you guys who didn't see our chakra crash course in the chakras part 1 or part 2, go check them out in my YouTube channel. They were about a month ago, so back in May. And then also, for those who didn't watch that and don't know who Lauren is, Lauren, can you introduce yourself and talk to us about who you are and all the great things that you do?
Yes. Hi. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Lauren Margulies, and I am a yoga and meditation teacher. And my meditation classes a lot of times are kind of based around the chakra system, the energetic body, because for me, there's just such a wealth of knowledge that we can learn and incorporate to better understand ourselves. So I love that we're doing these talks to give people an opportunity to better integrate the work that we do. So I'm a Reiki practitioner as well, and I'm all about helping people kind of balance their body in multiple ways: physical, emotional, mental.
Yeah.
And everybody needs that right now.
Everybody needs that right now. I had something I was going to say, and then my brain went, I was like, I guess it wasn't important. I hate it when that happens. It's been that kind of week. One thing, just something that I was reading, and it really stuck out to me is, the root chakra. This really is our earth. It is about roots and rooting. It's about grounding ourselves to Mother Earth and that connection to Earth. It's about survival. How do we survive? It's about our body, our physical body. Again, that connection to Earth through food, through matter, and it's just our place of being. There's so much that sits in this initial chakra, this beginning chakra. It is the root of life, if you will. So if you think of it that way, there's something I do want to read, just a quick quote that I think is just really, really, if you had to sum up the last couple weeks, if you had to sum up the last couple months, this really, really hits home. And it says, sacred is what happens when the scared get scrambled. Mm-hmm. Scared is what happens when the sacred gets scrambled. Mm-hmm. That's trauma. Fear, being scared, is a result, it is the manifestation, it is the physical feeling of trauma. How does trauma tie into our root chakra? So again, this is our home for grounding, our home for survival. How does survival tap into that? So when you think about it, if your core ability, so think about this has been embedded and grounded in us through evolution from the beginning. Survival is about, do I eat? So you go out, we would forage for food, we would hunt. We have something that's called our fight or flight mechanism, which is tied to our adrenal glands and our adrenal system, which raises our heart rate, which gets us going, which triggers us to go, okay, I've got to go. Do I run from the dinosaur or do I fight it? That is your fight or flight mechanism. It's been here from the beginning of human existence. However, it is something that we still have that we don't really need so much anymore. Yes, we need to fight or flight when there's a traumatic situation, but that survival instinct that we need to fight, and that's not necessarily where we are in this generation of human beings, right? It's not, we're just not there, but so much trauma lives in that ability to protect ourselves in that fight or flight mechanism. So trauma exists when that fight or flight mechanism is overextended and overexerted, and it stays for a long period of time. That creates trauma. Trauma also creates adrenal fatigue. Mm-hmm. So our body no longer can fight for itself. We start having issues with sleeping, digestion with our food, our immune system. These are things that happen with prolonged trauma. I just think that was very, very fascinating. So just taking that look into trauma, let's talk about why we're feeling so traumatized right now. I mean, there's a list of things that can go on, but why are we traumatized right now? And I have been working with clients and asking them, why are you traumatized right now? And how much of that trauma is from what's happening right now in our current life, or how much of that trauma was already there and current is they're meeting each other. And it's just kind of a heavy thought that I want everybody to kind of just sit with for a minute. How much of the trauma that you feel right now is from recent experiences, or is there some extra trauma that you've been holding and you're carrying into right now? Lauren, go into kind of why the root chakra, and you did such a great job talking about this with our first couple sessions, but everything that's going on right now and with trauma, how is that particularly, help us dig a little deeper into why that's attached to our root chakra?
Absolutely. So I love what you just shared, because it's such a key element of what's happening right now is that, and I said this, I think last time, we are not only moving through a traumatic experience, but we are now also reliving our past trauma, because we store that information in our cellular body, like any past experience that has caused that spike in adrenaline, all of those physiological responses that happen when we're in that fight or flight mode, which we spend way too much time in, even though we don't have a reason to be in it. We found other ways to kind of use that mechanism that we really shouldn't be, but we're stuck in this rabbit hole of just being addicted to that adrenaline release. So we are now experiencing what is truly an uprooting. I mean, that is what is happening right now. And when we spoke last time, we were already dealing with COVID. Well, now, it's a completely other ball game of true uprooting. So we started with a physical virus, and now we've moved on to this emotional virus that has plagued our country from the moment it began. I mean, if you want to look at history, you will see that this is not something new. This is not something that has just come out of nowhere. This is the foundations. This is the root of our country. And that is where so much trauma is being stirred up for a lot of people. So not only are we experiencing our own trauma, but the trauma of recognizing what this amazing, great country was founded upon is shaking everybody to the core. Now, of course, there's some people who already think about that on a day-to-day basis because that's their reality. Right. And that recognition for a lot of other people is new and overwhelming. And that's one of the interesting elements of what's happening is this mass awareness of our roots as a country, as our roots as individuals. And we are literally digging into the ground and ripping those roots out. And it's time. It needs to happen. But holy moly, it's uncomfortable and it's painful. And for everybody. I mean, nobody's moving through this time right now feeling, secure or stable unless, I don't even know. Maybe somebody is. I shouldn't speak for everyone, but I mean, if you're a feeling human being right now, you're feeling some sort of way about what's happening. And there's that saying of, the only way out is through. And that's where we're at right now. We have to keep doing the work and moving through this uprooting to allow ourselves an opportunity to replant our seeds, our roots into a more grounded, balanced soil. Yeah. So when we talked about, what chakra should we talk about right now, there was no question in my mind, like, this is where we need to be, because we are uprooting, we have to re-root ourselves so that we can come back to a place of stability as a country. But again, we have to move through this situation right now. We are at the the way beginning. There's a lot more to go.
Yeah.
And we have to stay grounded in ourselves to be able to move through this with sanity. Like that's where I'm at. Like and some days are going to be a lot easier than others, but we have to do the work, and we have to try to just continually be grounded in ourselves as human beings, so that we can then start a new foundation as a collective.
We do.
Yeah.
I love my father, just brilliant man. And I had a very long conversation with him the other day. And we kind of did our own little grounding exercise, if you will. And part of that was just what brings me to something another quote that I wanted to bring up, and something I want to talk about is living in this space of fear. Fear of your surroundings, fear part of the root chakra, again, is about your communal, your family, your community, and how so many people right now are afraid in their communities, afraid of what's going to happen, what's being said. I even fell victim to this. I'm afraid of my community because I went to the grocery store and got profiled the other day. And so how do you work through that? How do you ground yourself through that? How do you regain this? And I thought about this for a long time, and I thought about the root chakra, and I said, what is the kryptonite for the root chakra? What is the kryptonite for the root chakra? If greed and grief are the kryptonite for the heart chakra, what is the kryptonite for the root chakra? And it's fear. Survival has a demon called fear. Fear is the kryptonite for the root chakra. Because if you're afraid that you're not going to survive, if you're afraid you're not going to have enough food, if you're afraid that you don't matter, if you can't, afraid to ground, you cannot root to your root chakra. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
What are some ways to combat fear? Let's talk through this. And as a collective, you and I, and how do we, I'm not a Superman fan. So what was the kryptonite to kryptonite?
I'm not, Superman is not my jam either.
There's a kryptonite to kryptonite.
For sure.
How do we disable this kryptonite? How do we disable this fear?
I have to just come back to the saying of like, everything is either rooted in fear or it's rooted in love. And I think love is the antidote to fear. Typically, I think that works. So having enough self-love that you stop allowing other people's opinions to validate you, which of course is a lot easier said than done, because when you're living in a society where it's a mass of the society feels one way, it's a different element. So I'm not trying to minimize at all. But I do think that if we have enough self-care and self-love, it helps to kind of restabilize that ability. But there's not like one simple answer. But I do think those two, balance each other out in a way.
Right.
What about you? Do you have a thought on that?
I have a thought about that as a healer, and then I have a thought about that as an American, a Black American American woman, and they don't. I'm going to be very real. They don't align.
I believe that.
They just don't align, and that's okay, because there is something called hope, and there's also reality.
Yes.
And I think that's where, God bless it, I'm very good at compartmentalizing. And that's something that I had to just understand, that I have to compartmentalize. As the healer, I understand that, this is about consciousness, I think. And I pulled this from Wheels of Life because it made so much sense. Survival is about being conscious. Consciousness is oriented in survival. If I am conscious of my surroundings, if I am conscious of my body on this earth, then I'm already going to survive because I have that consciousness. However, with that consciousness comes sometimes that pain, and that pain comes with fear. So there's you see what I'm saying? They're parallel. There's this
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really easy to, especially as energy people and spiritual people, like spiritual bypassing is a real thing. And it happens sometimes even when we're in a well-meaning situation. Sometimes we want to just say, peace and love. And that's not the reality of the world that we're moving through, especially right now. And everybody's ugly is showing to a whole new degree.
Right.
And when you're viewing life one way, and then you see that there's this whole other realm of people that their lives are completely at odds with how you see the world, it's hard to reconcile that. And that's the reality. So knowing that you can only take care of yourself and your community, the people that relate to you, I think is important, because it can feel so overwhelming to want to change the world when you can't be responsible for that undertaking. So, we have to just do the best to take care of ourselves and keep fighting the good fight that we believe in, and hope that through our showing of love and faith that we inspire other people to follow along.
Yeah, there's the healer in me, I have to teach.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I'm here. So the healer in me is going to teach some things that I do to ground myself and to bring myself back, and to remember that consciously, if I'm going to be conscious in the space of the root chakra, that consciously I am one with earth, period. There's some affirmations that I'm going to actually just kind of read out just for a minute. And I want everybody to kind of just to think about this for a minute. Feel free to steal these, because some of these are not mine. But when you get in that space of fear, because remember, fear is the demon to the root chakra. When you get in this space of fear, whether it's fear for everything that's going on right now with the racial tension, whether it's fear, oh my gosh, is Trump ever going to get out of office? Whether it's fear that I'm worried about my children and their safety. I'm fearful of, am I going to lose my job because businesses have been destroyed due to COVID? When you're worried about, can I pay this bill right now? You guys, the shit's real. We know it's real. We're not taking away from that. What we want to do is kind of help, we want to help give you some building blocks, some tools.
Yes.
To understand. So here are some things that, just a couple affirmations for your root chakra. One is just remembering and just saying, I am connected to all of life. You're not in this alone. We are connected to all of life. We are made of the same particles and dust that Mama Earth is made from. And when you think about that, that's some pretty heavy stuff. We're not alone in this. So I'm connected to all of life. There's another one that says, I am grounded, safe, and secure. I had to think about this for a minute. Now, when I was followed in a grocery store and the manager kept following me and asking me, even though I had no wallet, just my debit card, and was buying a soda and some Gatorade, how do you in that moment go, I am grounded, safe, and secure? It's like, how do you do that? And I actually went, wait a minute. That's what you do, is you remind yourself, I am grounded, safe, and secure. So even if that moment things escalated, I had to remember, I have a cell phone. I can call for help. I can record. I can do something. But know that I am grounded with earth, and that I'm going to be safe, and I'm always secure. Another one is that my physical needs are abundantly met. Now, again, how do you know that my physical needs are abundantly met when I'm trying to find food to feed my children? I understand we're not living in a fairy tale world. We're living in reality. This is a real thing to think about, but I've learned this the hard way. When I have a scarcity mindset, I have a scarce life.
Yes.
Sometimes abundance is not necessarily physical, tangible things. Sometimes abundance is just a mindset. Having the resources, the people around you who can help you get to what you need. I know that my physical needs are abundantly met. You know, that's another one, and I've had to do that before. I've had 2 pennies to my name and go, you know what? Deep breath. What I really need is here. And if it's not here at this moment, it will come soon, because I know that my physical needs are abundantly met. And the last one I think is very important. And I heard Cash Peters gave this quote last week, and it really hit home, is that the earth supports me. This physical shell that we're standing on actually supports you. Sometimes having faith is you don't know what's going to happen, and you step out and just remember that the earth is going to rise up to meet your feet. And just know that the physical earth actually supports you. Lauren, do you have any more affirmations or things you want to add to kind of how do we pull ourselves when we get caught in this fear frequency and this kryptonite that is called fear with our root chakra? What are some other things we can say to ourselves to pull ourselves out of it?
Yeah, I mean, the one you said for me is the one that I use all the time, like the I am grounded, safe, and secure. To me, that one like always, and I visualize, as I say those words, I visualize like my feet grounded into the earth.
Yeah.
And I try to just reconnect back to the human experience that we are all moving through, and recognize that the earth is supporting all of your basic needs, and that just helps you to kind of re-ground your energy. I think I talked about this briefly last time, but walking outside without shoes on, we talked about hugging a tree, touching a tree. Like for me, what I've been doing for the last couple months to keep me grounded is I've started gardening with just pots. It doesn't have to be a whole thing. I have a one windowsill where I get good light. And so it's completely packed with different plants. And I actually put my hands into the dirt, and I pot them that way. And I cannot even tell you that physical experience of touching dirt is so grounding. It's healing, it's nurturing. You're caring for another element of earth by taking care of plants. So I highly recommend, even if it's just 1 or 2 plants, no matter where you live, like you can have one small potted plant. And that has been my savior for the last little while. So I think that's a really good tool for healing. You don't have to have a green thumb, get a succulent.
You can't really kill succulents.
Maybe. I might have killed 1 or 2 of them.
I have a green thumb and I've killed one, but
I'm not bad. I'm usually pretty good with plants, but I have killed 1. But typically, if you nurture them and you underwater, I think is important. But the act of watering plants, the touching and rooting them into a pot is so healing, and I think that's very deeply connected to the root chakra. So
there's also a little prayer, little mantra I do when I water my plants. I take them in, and I don't know why I felt like I needed to sing this out. I take them and I bring them in. I do whatever I do, and I say, "Mama Earth, I'm giving back to you what you have given to me. Ho'oponopono, I love you. I apologize. Please forgive me, and thank you." And it's my little reciprocity practice with Mother Earth to just thank her for having me on this earth, for the beautiful trees, for the air that she gives me. And this is my way of giving back to her. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. And the Ho'oponopono has been coming to my heart a lot lately, just with all of what's happening. It's another grounding intention meditation that I think is a powerful tool right now. So, yeah.
I have a really good friend I used to work with, and it's so funny. She called me from the bathroom one day at work, and I was like, "Heifer, are you in the bathroom?" And she's like, how we used to lock ourselves in the stall and cry at work. I was like, "Oh Lord, what happened?" So she's like, just up to here with her. She was just having a really rough day with her peers and her boss, and I just said, "Ho'oponopono." She's like, "What?" I said, "Ho'oponopono. Just keep saying it." she had never heard of it. It's like, I love you, I apologize, please forgive me, thank you. It's like, and it's just about grounding yourself, calming yourself, getting back to, it's like, you can just say it in your head, Ho'oponopono, and you just, and she called me back a couple days later and she's like, I have been Ho'oponoponoing the hell out of people.
I love that. I think that's a really important one right now too, because it's like what I said, like you're not going to change everybody's opinion, but when you say that prayer, to me, I think it gives you some sense of grace about where you're at. Like it gives you forgive people that have that their life experience may not allow them to see the world clearly, and you forgive them in that realm. Doesn't mean that you allow their behavior, but you forgive them for your own self. It's, to me, forgiveness is about your, typically it's for you, because it's like you're taking poison if you're constantly viewing that hate. And listen, right now is a really hard time. There's a lot of hate that's completely justified right now. And so it's a hard time, but I do think that helps to digest some of what's happening and give yourself that space of forgiveness so that you can sleep at night. It's about your own peace of mind and taking that for yourself. So I think that's a beautiful blessing and intention.
And another thing I love about it is that for me, it's about accountability. And when I say I apologize, sometimes I have to apologize to myself and I have to forgive myself.
Yes.
So when I says, I love you, I apologize, please forgive me.
Yes.
I'm not necessarily asking somebody else to forgive me. I'm asking myself, hey, you're imperfect too.
Yes.
So you need to forgive others, you need to forgive yourself. So let's start there first. And it just how much I noticed my heart chakra would balance itself out.
Yes. No, we have to give ourselves that grace. That's exactly. You have to give it to yourself before you're even capable of sharing it. You have to start within for sure. So yeah, that's beautiful. So powerful.
So another thing that's causing, so let's go back, just a couple of things also that I wanted to make sure we bring up. Let's bring this back to Mother Earth, and then we're going to talk about Mama Earth just one more time and kind of understand. I want everybody to understand why this root chakra is so important. And then we're going to talk about the universe right after that. So one last quote from Wheels of Life, and I thought this was really good, just to get everybody to understand how all of this works with our root chakra. Dr. Judith says, the ultimate foundation for our survival is the earth itself. It's Mama Earth. Unfortunately, the earth is also in a state of survival at this time. The threat of ecological collapse, nuclear holocaust, and the scarcity of even clean water, air, and all affect our own feelings of survival, either consciously or unconsciously. And she said this back in, when was this published? Like 1977.
Wow.
She knew in 1977. This is why the earth chakra brings us back to Mother Earth. It is our ultimate foundation of survival on Earth itself. So just remember, we're all human. We're going through this human experience. And that's why everything is just feeling janky, because it's all bringing us back to Mother Earth and its connection on Mother Earth. I will post, for those of you who are questioning, who want to know about Ho'oponopono, I will put a link. I say it, and I learned it from my very good friend, who is a teacher of mine. She taught it to me. I've been saying Ho'oponopono, I've heard it before, but she changed the order in a way that she teaches it, and it makes a lot of sense to me. So when you read this, the order is a little different, but in essence, it's Ho'oponopono is an ancient Hawaiian prayer, if you will. It's about reconciliation and forgiveness. And the order I say it is, I love you, I apologize, please forgive me, and thank you. You don't have to say all of those when you say Ho'oponopono. You actually can just honestly say Ho'oponopono. And that will ground. That's a good grounding exercise. So Lauren, We talked about why Mama Earth is feeling a little janky right now. Let's talk about some things outside of Mama Earth that are adding to the janky feeling. Things are heightened right now. June is going to be a hell of a month. There's a lot with astrology. So
Oh goodness.
the
Yeah.
lowdown on what's about to happen. Astrology.
Oh man, I wish I had good news on this. So first of all, I want to say I'm not an astrologer by trade. It's something I love and it's something I read about, but I'm probably gonna mess little things up. So please, ho'oponopono for me.
Whatever. Always like Lauren. Something's in retrograde, right?
I'm actually currently studying astrology on a deeper level because I definitely feel like it's part of my path for the future. It's the first time I've said that out loud, but I'm ready to move forward towards it. Yeah. So there's so much happening astrologically. First of all, tomorrow is a super full moon, which a super moon just means that the moon is closer to the earth. So it's larger in appearance, but it's also larger magnitude in how we experience it. We feel it. And with the full moon tomorrow, which the energy is already starting now, it starts, before it actually happens, there's a buildup and then there's a day where it kind of descends. So we're already in the buildup for tomorrow. There's also an eclipse that's happening, and eclipses are portals. They're like these markers of time that typically it's a 6-month marker of time where there's going to be things that begin right now, even though it feels like we're already like in all these new beginnings, but we're kind of at the tipping point. So there's going to be a shift of what's happening now that lasts for the next 6 months. And the next big shift is supposed to be in October. So what I would say is, based on what I've read, we've got a few more months of moving through some challenging experiences, but we're strong and we can do it. So I think once it's October, November, well, of course, then there's the whole elections. I don't know how all that's going to happen, but once this portal starts, we're going to be moving through some stuff. Now, other than that, what's really absolutely crazy that's happening right now is retrograde planets. So a retrograde planet, there's so many. A retrograde planet is when a planet appears from Earth. It appears to be moving backwards in the sky. And each planet in astrology is capable of kind of certain attributes of how we view ourselves and how we view the world. One of my favorite astrologers always puts it that the planets do not affect us. He says the planets are us. We are the planets. And those attributes are elements of ourselves. And the planets are just another way that we get reflected what's happening within us. It also reflects what's happening in the collective consciousness. So you can see that shit is stirred up right now. So what's retrograde right now? So Saturn is retrograde right now. And these planets all went retrograde in the last couple of weeks. Like the second week of May, 3 planets, major planets went retrograde. So Saturn is called the great teacher. So, I mean, that should sum it up right there. Saturn, I don't remember. It's one that doesn't change signs very often, and it doesn't go retrograde as often as the others because it's further away. I don't know the exact point, so I'm not going to try to pretend. But when Saturn goes retrograde, this is time to have a new element of learning. And these are experiences that are super painful and uncomfortable. And that is what started, I think it was like May 11th or so, May 12th, which, I mean, if you look at what's happened since then, you can see Saturn is retrograde. And that is a massive element of this learning experience that we're moving through. So what else is retrograde is Venus. For me, I have Venus really strong in my chart. So this one is affecting me personally the most out of all of them. Venus is all about our love relationships and all relationships, really. So we're having, first of all, everybody's been in quarantine for months and months. And then after being in months, and some people are quarantined, of course, you know, that live by themselves. And so they're like totally devoid of those relationships. And so there's all of this upheaval that was already happening with our relationships. And then Venus goes retrograde and it's like, oh my goodness, now I also have to kind of reconsider all that's been happening with my relationships and what does that mean? What does that look like? And how does that affect me in the future? Venus goes retrograde, I think it's every 18 months. So it's not like happening every 3 months like Mercury. It's, when it happens, it's a big thing. So we're kind of reconsidering our relationships, our relationship with ourselves, our relationship with loved ones, and our relationship with those that have opposing views.
Yeah.
So that's another element that's huge right now. And then the third one that's also retrograde, and these all went retrograde within a couple days of each other, is Jupiter. Mm-hmm. And Jupiter is the planet of expansion. So Jupiter's like, oh, I see that, and I'm going to shine a massive spotlight on whatever's coming up. So we're in this element of learning. We're having these great experiences of this underground teaching that's happening with Saturn. We're learning about our relationships and reevaluating and, trying to better understand them. And then Jupiter is just like expanding all of that. And I mean, look at what's happening in the world right now. It's all there's not a single person that's escaping what's happening. I posted something on Instagram the other day, and it was these 3 different elements of different planets going retrograde at different times, and it related back to like civil rights and things of that nature. And I said, like, whether you believe in astrology or not, like,
you can't deny this.
Through it, you may not believe in it, but like it's still a thing. It's still happening, and history has shown us how these patterns repeat, and these patterns are they're opportunities to learn. And so that's how I'm going to kind of reframe this. Is retrograde periods are super uncomfortable for a lot of people. And of course, it depends on your individual chart of how you're fully experiencing each of these elements. But no matter what, you are experiencing some layer of learning, you are experiencing some discomfort in some type of relationship, and you are experiencing all of that within yourself. So there's a lot to process right now. And the elements of that we talked about of grounding are so important. One of the things I want to say is, and I have to even, slap myself on the wrist, because self-care right now needs to be at the forefront.
It does.
And I need to take my own advice, because
right. I've been very bad with that.
I mean, it's just because there's so much right now. It feels indulgent. It feels like you need to be like using your energy for something else. However, like, we have to be replenishing our own energy so that we can fight the good fight, so that we can better understand our experience of what's happening and be better prepared for the future. So yeah, self-care is really important right now.
It is. We can't pour from that empty cup.
Exactly. Yeah. So lots happening astrologically. Full moons are always a time to delve even deeper into our subconscious. So I would say tomorrow to even this evening, figure out ways that you can have some time to just be in solitude. And go for a walk outside. If that doesn't feel safe, maybe you listen to a podcast, or maybe healing music, like listening to a waterfall or something that will kind of bring you back to nature, whether it's actually being outside or whether it's something that just kind of mimics that connection to nature, is really a healing element that I would add into your practices tonight and tomorrow. Maybe taking a bath would be a great way to, self-soothe, add some salts in there, things like that. So self-care, especially the next day or two, up your self-care, nourishing foods, all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Please, I always say, take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
So then we can take care of others.
True. So true.
Yeah. That's heavy. Thank you for all that explanation. Hope you guys were taking notes. If not, just watch it again. And there's, again, this universality, connection. We're connected. Everything connects us. And so no wonder there's so many things, like you said, ratcheted up right now, stirred up.
Yes.
We're gonna do just a Q&A, see if anybody in the chat has any questions, and Lauren and I will answer them. And then I want you guys to stick around because there's more. Lauren is actually going to do a beautiful guided root chakra meditation and a guided sound, that is guided dummy, sound healing for us after we do the Q&A. So please make sure if you have to drop, we get it, but this is our gift to you to help you guys right now through this just really intense time. It's just to give you the gift of a guided meditation and a sound bath. So are there any questions? I know I've been reading the chats, absolute great dialogue. What questions do any of you have? I know I answered the Ho'oponopono, but what else do you guys have? And guys, thank you, Larry Girl. Please go, please check out Lauren. She does all of her, she uploads when she does certain sound meditations, they get uploaded onto YouTube. Please follow her again on Instagram. It's at BSG Yoga. Do you still do your Saturday mornings?
You know, I haven't been doing it, and that for me was an act of self-care, because the last few weeks, life has just been so all over the place. I was my kids were learning at home, and I was managing, I don't like to say homeschooling because I wasn't their teacher, but I was managing their distance learning, and it was a lot. And I was like, I need to step away from it, but it's going to happen again at some point in the near future. So when things slow down and I'm ready to give back, it's going to happen again. But I have uploaded all of my former classes on my YouTube page, so those are there for your viewing pleasure.
Yes, I know. I used to do it in person when we were co-located, and then I would walk the neighborhood every Saturday morning. Saturday morning, I'm going to walk and listen to Lauren. Yes. She does a sound bath, and I walk into the middle of the street.
Walk safely.
Guys, any questions before we get into the guided meditation part? And yes, teachers, you guys need
Connie's comment too.
You need to be
to pay raise.
I have said this a million times. And I'm not, Connie, I'm not doing any, I know you know we're not doing any, I'm not doing any throwing any tarot cards tonight, but I believe there needs to be teachers need to be paid. Entertainers, God bless you guys, you're great. But I think athletes, like entertainers, that's fine, but that's not where the money needs to go. That's where teachers need to be paid.
Redistribution of so many aspects of that. I could not agree more.
It's so aggravating on so many levels, but I will scream about that another day. But the best way for me to scream about that right now is for me to vote for who is in charge of my school districts,
exactly,
or my state legislation, who decides these things. Like, that's where I have to scream, and that's where I choose to scream right now.
Yes, education is everything.
I'm not seeing any questions, so what we're gonna do is, yes, we will. What we're going to do is I'm going to hide myself on camera. I'm going to go dark because what I want you guys to do is focus on Lauren. And I only have one question. I only have one request. Yes, I'm the person who gives a gift, but then I ask for something in return. I'm that kind of asshole. The only thing I ask is that you guys, if you can, please refrain from chatting right now during these next, let's say, few 10, 15, 20 minutes. And just actually sit in a place, get in a good seated, comfortable position, and actually use this as part of your self-care that we were just speaking about a few minutes ago.
Yes.
This is a gift to help you start this self-care journey that you need to embark on in the next 28 hours that we have this full moon.
Yeah.
So I know we can chat. We can always chat later on another thread. Right now, it's just time to heal your energy, heal yourselves first, so we can later heal everybody else. So with that, I'm going to go on mute, and Lauren, go ahead and
I'm just going to turn my lights off so it's a little bit darker.
Get us through this guided meditation.
Hey, so yes, take a moment, get comfortable. I want you to be in some type of seated position where you can feel your sitting bones. That's all I ask, is that you find that sense of grounding in your own physical body. So start to root your sitting bones, and then give yourself an opportunity just to feel that connection of the sitting bones maybe connecting to a chair or whatever it is that you are seated in. Once you find that, allow your lower body to relax. Feel a sense of heaviness in the legs, and maybe you are even able to press your feet into the ground if your feet reach the ground. So sense if that's an option for you. That's another way to really feel more grounded in your body. So once you feel your legs getting heavy, the sitting bones connected, let your tailbone start to relax towards the ground. And then begin to elongate up your spine. So imagine there's space between your vertebrae and your back body, and lengthen all the way up to the crown of the head. Allow your chin to become parallel with the floor, and just let your shoulders melt away from your ears. And then if it feels comfortable, take a moment to close your eyes. If you don't prefer to close your eyes, maybe you find a soft gaze point at the tip of your nose, or maybe you look down at the floor or your desk, whatever's around. And wherever your gaze settles upon, start to feel your eyelids relax. A sense of expansion across the eyelids, the eyebrows, as well as your forehead. Letting go of any crinkles in the face. Let your lower jaw unhinge away from your upper jaw, separating the upper and lower teeth away from each other. Start to feel your tongue spread in the base of your mouth, almost a heaviness in the tongue. And then softly swallow and notice that sensation of relaxation that moves in the back of your throat. Start to watch that relaxation moving internally, all the way down into your belly. And we'll take a cleansing breath, deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. We'll do that again. Deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And then just allow your breath to naturally flow in and out through your nostrils. Just noticing how the breath feels as you take breath into your body. Maybe you sense a coolness. And as you release breath out of your nostrils, maybe you sense a bit of warmth. And then begin to sense how the breath moves in a rhythmical form. And it doesn't have to be a specific way, but just notice your own breathing pattern in this moment. Is there a pause between your inhale and exhale? Is there a pause between the exhale and the next inhale? And begin to sense where the breath naturally flows in your body. Maybe you feel your rib cage expanding. Maybe you feel that expansion in the belly. Maybe you just notice that breath flow in the nostrils, and that's okay too. There's not a right or a wrong. Just becoming more in tune with how your breath moves in and out of your body. And we're not trying to force the breath. We're not even trying to control the breath. We're just allowing our body to breathe, noticing what that experience feels like in this moment, fully present with your body, fully present with your breath. And as you feel that grounding energy moving all the way down to your sitting bones, still feeling that heaviness in the legs, maybe feet pressing into the ground, just sensing your body in this moment. Your body is exactly where it is supposed to be. There's nowhere else that requires your attention right now. You are where you need to be in this moment. Now, with your eyes soft or closed, I want you to call into your mind's eye an image. This is an image of a mountain. Maybe it's a singular mountain. Maybe it is a range of mountains connected to each other. And just start to notice the different attributes of the mountain that's within your mind. Noticing the textures and the colors that are present on your mountain. Begin to sense if you can see trees or bushes. Maybe your mountain has snow. Maybe your mountain is in a warmer space. There's not a right or a wrong, just noticing what your mountain looks like. And as you sense that mountain in your mind and you take in the colors and the images of nature that surrounds your mountain, notice what the sky looks like surrounding the mountain. Maybe you sense blue skies. Maybe you sense heavy clouds. Maybe there's just small clouds floating by the peak. Notice how tall your mountain is, how far into the sky your mountain grows. And then begin to imagine the wildlife, maybe birds that fly by, maybe noticing a chirping sound in the background. Maybe the only sound around your mountain is the gentle breeze that flows around this beautiful structure. And as you take in the energy of this mountain, recognize the base of your mountain and how this wide, expansive base of the mountain connects to Mother Earth. Feel what that energy feels like in your body. And as you take in the base of this mountain, begin to imagine your feet and legs also as the base. Envisioning your body as a mountain as well. And as you envision yourself as a mountain, you begin to feel that base energy rooting into the support of the earth. Start to feel what it's like to be a rooted mountain, strong, stable, fully connected, fully supported by Mother Earth. And as your attention flows gently up your mountain, as you visualize that picture in your mind, start to imagine your torso as the midsection of the mountain. Maybe your arms are trees that are growing off of your mountain, or bushes, whatever you envision on yours. And just sensing that connection to the middle aspect of your mountain in your torso. And start to allow your energy to move all the way up the mountain, connecting with the upper region of your mountain, which is the peak. This is where we connect with our shoulders, our neck, and our head. We allow that to be the peak of our own grounded mountain. Noticing the gentle breeze that passes by. Noticing how that air moves in and out of your nose and your mouth, just as that breeze flows across the peak of that mountain in your mind. And as you allow yourself to be a mountain, Feel that rooted, grounded energy connecting you to the earth, allowing you to receive energy, fueling your body, fueling your sense of self, and allowing that energy to flow from the soles of the feet all the way up to your tailbone. And as we imagine this beautiful grounded mountain that we are, but also that is in front of us, recognize the strength of your mountain and how even when a strong wind comes towards the mountain stays stable. The mountain stays strong and connected. And when we allow ourselves to be rooted all the way through the soles of the feet, we can be just like that mountain, rooted in our personal truth, rooted in self-love, allowing ourselves the opportunity to receive that healing energy from the earth whenever we need it. Breathing into yourself as a mountain. Not only envisioning the mountain in front of you, but envisioning the mountain that is within. Recognizing your own ability to be strong, your own ability to move through challenges with grace, with the support of the earth. Recognizing how we are able to use that support to help us feel stable. We'll take a cleansing breath, deep breath in through the nose, out through your mouth. With your eyes still closed, I just want you to receive the sounds of the different instruments and allow those sounds to flow through your mountain, stabilizing with each breath. Take a cleansing breath, deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more time, deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just feeling that grounding energy in your body, allowing that grounded energy to flow all the way into the heart space. Recognizing your ability to tune back into this energy at any time where you need it. Knowing you can call upon that image of the mountain, reflect on that external image, also knowing that you are able to envision yourself as that same sacred entity. Take one more cleansing breath, deep breath in through the nose, out through your mouth. As you feel ready, maybe starting to wiggle fingers and toes. Taking a moment to find little movements in the body just to bring the awareness back into the physical sensations. And then only when you feel ready, starting to flicker your eyes back open, coming back into this shared space with a fresh set of eyes, fresh set of awareness. Okay, welcome back. Thank you all for allowing me to guide you in that practice. That felt grounding for me as well. So I hope you experienced some sense of deeper stillness and stability through that envisioning. So,
Thank you, Lauren, for guiding us through that.
of course, my pleasure.
Self-care is very important to get through right now. Remember that fear is the kryptonite for the root chakra. Survival has a demon, and that is called fear. Because remember, scared is what happens when the sacred gets scrambled.
Mm-hmm.
Marcia P., I hope you're still here. Yes, absolutely. Exhaustion is a manifestation of an imbalance in your root chakra. It's called fight or flight. That has been worn down, and you could be, and it can manifest itself in a way of adrenal fatigue.
Yes.
So, guys, please make sure that you are taking rest when you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Come back to grounding yourself with Ho'oponopono when you feel that things are becoming overwhelming for you. Just remember, Ho'oponopono, I love you. I apologize. Please forgive me and thank you. We will be doing this the first Thursday of every month. We will continue our chakra talk series. Next month, I'm feeling heart chakra.
Okay.
But we'll see how things play out, because it may be a solar plexus. We'll figure it out. But thank you so much for guiding us through that meditation, Lauren. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Please check her out and subscribe to her YouTube channel. Also check her out on Instagram, BSG Yoga. And I want to end this with just thanking all of you for watching and for being with us tonight to talk about what's going on, to learn about chakras and some astrology. Thank you for coming into this with an open mind and an open heart. I send a prayer to you that your heart and your mind continue to stay open, continue to stay in your loving place.
Yes.
And that you continue to find grounding. Until our next chakra talk next month, first Thursday in July. Thank you guys so much. With love and blessing, I will see you guys later. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.
Turn my face back on.